So in life, there's no doubt we're going to get there. The question is, where is there? Is there someplace that we decide it is, or is there where we just end up? It's the same thing when it comes to our personal brand. Are we going to decide what our personal brand is and intentionally promote it, or are we going to accept the brand that other people put on us? The best way to manage your brand quickly is to define a certain set of standards for success that challenge you to be better, that challenge you to go to the next level. And if you adhere to those, you're immediately going to have an impact on your target audience. Let me give you an example. I have a client of mine here in Southern California, and I coach the president of the company, super successful family organization. And one of the younger second generation people, as apt to happen, is, he was kind of taking advantage of the fact that his last name was the same as the owner's last name. And he was showing up to meetings late, he was taking phone calls, giving, disingenuous excuses why he couldn't attend meetings. But he was super talented. So finally, the president of the company, exasperated, came to him and said, look, I'm at the end of my rope. Here's my coach, Tim O'Brien. I'm going to ask Tim to help you. If it doesn't work, I don't know what else to do. Now, he wasn't going to fire him, but he certainly wasn't going to be promoted up the ranks. So we sat down, we had a very blunt conversation. I said to him, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm also going to challenge you to be better. You're going to have to work harder to repair the damage you've already done, and harder because your last name is the same as the owner's last name. And most importantly, I don't really care how you think you're doing. I care how your peers and your boss thinks you're doing. So if you're into those dynamics, if they work for you, I'd love to work with you. And for whatever reason, up until this point in time, he was basically yes, 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 yes to everybody else. It was nothing about me. It just, my coaching and his career desires intersected at the right time. So we sat down and we developed 7 rules that would directly impact his personal brand credibility and that would access his potential. Now, it's interesting, it was nothing big, nothing flashy, like buy a new car, change your job, change your clothes, nothing. It was all mundane. It was like things like, if I'm going to be late, I call ahead. I don't take cell phone calls in meetings. I don't cancel meetings. I let people finish their thoughts before I share my thoughts. Little things, but those were areas where he was falling below the bar. But when he changed those over the next 30 days, it was incredible the impact he had. And I said to him, when we started out, no reason to share these standards with anybody else. Because if you do, they're going to say, yeah, I've heard it all before. There's no reason to tell people, watch. Didn't matter. Let's just do. And slowly but surely, over the course of 30 days, it was incredible, absolutely incredible, the impact he had on his personal brand credibility. So what I would say to you is, ask yourself the question, where am I falling below the bar? Where does my behavior need to improve? Do I need to dress better? Do I need to communicate better? Do I need to, be more charitable minded? Do I need to be more spiritual? Do I need to be more intellectual? Do I need to be a better family man? Do I need to be a better family woman? I don't know what the areas are for you. You have to decide where you need to be better. And here's the second thing to keep in mind when you're doing that. Make sure you're not just choosing concepts. Make sure you're actually choosing specific rules that a third party can look and observe and decide for themselves whether or not you're adhering to them, as opposed to you offering a narrative as to why you fulfill those rules. You have values and you have rules. It's the rules that you live by that create your personal brand credibility in the marketplace. A value might be, I need to improve my communication. Well, how do I possibly measure that? I say, hey, so are you adhering to your improving my communication standard for success? And the answer is yes. Well, tell me how. And you go into a long narrative about some things that you did. I don't doubt that you did them. But if you drill down and you're more specific about areas that you really need to improve on, like when I come in the morning, I say good morning and I say good night. I don't interrupt teammates until they're done speaking before I offer my thoughts. So try to be as specific as you possibly can. And you'll be shocked at the impact that you're having. The third thing I want you to keep in mind is challenge yourself to go to the next level. So in my Rainmaker U program, when we work through this exercise, I'll say to people, I'll ask like, Pete, do you lie? And he's like, no, I don't lie. Then don't put down there, I won't lie. You want to put down behaviors that you're not good at, that you need to get better at. You know, I was reading a book, biography by Ben Franklin, and in there he called it his virtues. And what he did was he had 7 virtues that he focused on every single day. And he made a matrix. And he took those 7 virtues and he cycled through them 4 times a year. So one of his virtues might be temperance. And so he focused on that for a week. And what he would do is he would have a chart that would have Monday through Sunday. And anytime he failed on that virtue, he would make a check mark. And that was the way he kind of micromanaged his behavior. Ben Franklin was an amazing personal brand manager. So kind of wrapping it all up, your personal brand is whatever you want it to be. And if you don't want to put the effort in, that's fine. Other people will decide it for you. A way that you can immediately impact your personal brand is to define some really excellent standards for success in areas where you're falling below the bar, that challenge you to go to the next level. And when you choose a standard for success, make sure it's not a general concept like communication. Make sure it's as specific as possible so that if I, a third party, were observing your behavior, I would know without you giving me any explanation whether or not you've satisfied that standard. You do that, it'll be incredibly impactful you'll have on your target audience.